Hi, I'm Nia, and this is a Nia project, where the personal and the political meet. Sometimes the most dangerous moment is not when the bombs are falling, it's when someone calls for peace and hides a knife behind the back. Today we talk about negotiations, about absurd demands from Russia, about the way the world listens and sometimes forgets, and what all this means for Ukraine and for my country, Belarus. Let's talk about the latest peace proposal from Russia. Not withdrawal, no justice, no accountability. Just, let's freeze the war. Let's pretend Crimea was always Russian. Let's forget about Bucha, Mariupol, Hostomel. Let's let Russia keep what it's stolen and then say thank you for the ceasefire. Because that's not peace. That's surrender, dressed up in diplomacy. And every time someone in a suit from Moscow utters the word negotiation, I hear the echoes of bombs and the silence of the graves. They call it a starting point, but let's be clear. When your opening line is give me your land, your sovereignty and your memory, you're not negotiation, you're blackmailing. Ukraine isn't confused. Ukrainians know what's happening. They've seen it since 2014. They lived it every single day since February 24, 2022. They don't want endless war, but they understand something that many in the West seem to forget. Peace without justice is just a break before the next invasion. And yet, the pressure builds. Editorials in foreign newspapers ask Ukraine to compromise. Diplomats behind closed doors whisper about saving face for Russia. Some politicians want to protect the economy more than people's life. As if oil prices feel pain. As if GDP has to bury its children. But Ukraine and those of us who fight alongside here, we are not here to decorate peace talks with dead bodies. We are here for justice. In international law, aggression is one of the gravest crimes. It's not just about invading another country. It's about starting a war that leads to every other atrocity. No Bucha without aggression, no deported children, no bombed maternity wards. Aggression is a mother crime, and yet no one from the Russian top leadership has been held accountable for it. No trials, no sentences, no consequences. Imagine what it means. It tells future tyrants, you can do it. Just be big enough, scare them enough, and you will walk free. No reparations, no justice, no truce, only silence. How can we call this world civilized if we let aggression go unpunished? And don't tell me it's complicated. You know what's complicated? Explaining to a child why their parents are gone because someone miles away decided their home was a military target. Let's imagine, just for a moment, that Russia gets away with this. No reparations, no war crimes tribunal for aggression, no punishment for launching the biggest war in Europe since World War II. What message does it send? It says, aggression works. It says borders are optional. It says, might makes right. And if that becomes a rule, then Ukraine isn't the last target, it's the first. Belarus is already occupied, de facto by the Kremlin. But imagine what happens when that becomes de jure. When Putin no longer uses Belarus as a silent partner, but absorbs it fully. A military colony, a launchpad. And from there, the Baltics, Poland, Kaliningrad connected by force. Another corridor carved through sovereign nations. Don't laugh. He tried it with Crimea, and the world let it slide. Why not try again? Belarus today is what I call a double occupation. First by the regime of Lukashenko, second by the Kremlin. One controls your life, the other uses your land to take someone else's. We are not free, not politically, not militarily, not morally. We are being turned into a silent weapon, a platform for rockets, for airfields, for war, and yet many are still afraid to speak. I understand that fear. I live with it for years. When you grow up in Belarus, you learn. Don't raise your voice, don't raise your head, don't raise your hopes too high, because someone will come for you, or worse, for your family. For a long time, I was silent too. I thought maybe if I stay quiet, nothing will happen. Maybe if I don't raise my head, they won't notice me. Maybe if I just wait long enough, someone else will fix it. But then I realized something simple and terrifying. The regime can hurt your family, whether you speak or stay silent. They don't need a reason. Your existence is the reason. That's when I understood I can only be responsible for my own choices. And silence is still a choice. So I chose to speak, to act, to join the fight where I'm needed, in Ukraine. Because Ukraine's victory is a first crack in both walls, Lukashenko's prison and Putin's empire. Some people ask why Belarusians fighting for Ukraine, and here's my answer. Ukraine is a front line, and Belarus is right behind it. If Ukraine falls, Belarus becomes the next full occupation, not just in practice, but on paper, in law, in blood. But if Ukraine wins, Putin is weakened, and the chain that binds Belarus to the Kremlin starts to crack. That's why I serve. That's why I fight, not instead of Belarus, but for Belarus. Because one day, when the time comes, those I stood beside in Ukraine will stand beside me in Belarus. We Belarusians are more than Lukashenko. We are more than what the world sees on the map. More than fear, more than silence, more than exile. We are people who remember 2020, who remember the protests, who remember standing shoulder to shoulder, even when we knew they could break our bodies, but never our will. And now, some of us are fighting in Ukraine. Others are volunteering, donating, building bridges. But all of us are choosing to resist. The regime wants us afraid, wants us divided, wants us quiet. But we are not. We are many. We are not done. Thank you for working with me today. This was a near project, where the personal and the political always meet. Let's keep going together.